I know shame is useless, but insecurity seems kind of helpful. I gotta be honest with you. Insecurity is a worthless emotion. Shame, guilt, insecurity. No, anything where you beat up on yourself, waste of time. Total waste of time. It never fixes anything. Never solves a damn thing. None of them. If you did something bad, you try to fix it best as you can. You learn from your mistakes. That's not guilt or shame. That's just trying to do better, okay? Guilt, shame, insecurity just makes you a whiny bitch. And you know what? I'm not saying that you're a bad person for succumbing to these feelings. Everyone does sometimes. I'm saying that you should work past them best as you can. Don't you say that we should shame and bully people all the time, though? I mean, if they're like Nazis, but yeah, sure. Yeah, basically, I'm saying don't self-bully. Yeah, exactly, nuts. Don't, yeah. You bully, direct the bullying outward towards others. Don't do it to yourself. Are guilt, shame, and insecurity not motivating forces to changing? No, they're not. Have you ever interacted with a person riddled with one of those three or multiple of those three feelings? No, they don't do anything. No. No one improves because they're riddled with guilt. They just wallow. Same with shame and insecurity. Like the people who improve the fastest are the insecure ones? No? God, no. Absolutely not. The insecure ones are the ones who don't try at all because they're worried about, you know, being ridiculed for trying. It doesn't help you. You can be self-aware. Isn't bullying people the same as shaming them? Depending on how you bully, but that's to them. Talking about doing this to yourself. It's different if you're doing it to someone else. Do you think jealousy is also useless? I mean, you should probably like try to figure out what you're jealous of and how to resolve that feeling in a constructive way. So we do want fascists to be insecure, right? Yeah. So they'll stop being fascists. Yes. I mean, they're already insecure. That's why they're fascists. But doesn't the insecurity drive them deeper into fascism? Can you like use your head and not try to like logic me out of this or whatever? You know perfectly well what I mean. These negative feelings directed against yourself are unproductive. If Nazis feel like no one will talk to them because of their shit-ass ideology that, like, you know, mandates genocide or whatever, and they feel insecure about that, maybe that'll motivate them. It really depends on how, like, overwhelming the social pressure is, you know? It's not the same as you directing it to yourself. Don't be a damn pedant. You know what we need to get into, talking about insecurity and bullying and stuff? We need to, like, really push not being a loser on the left. And I see a little too much of that. We need to push people being cool and not losers. Because I honestly, I feel like you could encapsulate a lot of the problem with that. Define loser? No, that's a loser thing to post, by the way. Black in the Borg, in case you were wondering. I won't define it, but I will draw a line that can help kind of like estimate the boundaries of it. If you're saying we should bully Nazis, but also that bullying is a kind of shaming the people, you're being a pedant, okay? All of these words have slightly different meanings depending on their application. Bullying isn't a kind of shaming. What do you mean? You can bully people in lots of ways. You can give them a swirly. What are you talking about? And people don't better through shame, guilt, and insecurity because you're self-directing those feelings when you apply them to yourself. If you're being shamed by another, you realize there's a difference between feeling shameful and being shamed. If you do something bad in a social situation, I think being shamed by people around you is fine. It's a way of indicating to you that you're doing something bad. Feeling shameful after the fact is just you lingering. You should look to correct the problem, but feeling shameful doesn't, like, you understand it's complicated, but no, you might be 12. I shouldn't lambast. I know it's late, little grumpy. I'm an old man now. I'm 31 years old. I'm not coming after you. Just sometimes it feels like the fundamental, like maybe this is because I had good parenting or something. Like I was parented well, I don't have a kid. But like, it feels like so many of the fundamentals just get skipped over these days. You go straight from baby to activist. Okay, what about like baby to cool guy to activist? It feels like we skip some of the essentials. You know? You like being a good person, not just morally. Who gives a fuck if you're good morally anymore? Trump won, loser. No one gives a shit. Oh, you're good. You help an old lady across the street. I don't care. Okay? What about like good, you can take care of yourself? Nobody can anymore. It's crazy. It's like a decaying society thing. Nobody can talk. Nobody can resolve their problems. Nobody can engage. Nobody's impressive. Karl Marx wrote about this, I think. Yeah, he cribbed it off my notes. Incredibly individualistic take. See, that's the loser shit I'm talking about. If I say, hey, be cool. And you're like, doesn't the idea of being cool kind of supplant the collective interest in favor of the individual's ego? That's not cool. You have to, that's not cool. You gotta roll it back. It's kind of about self-love, right? Yeah, well, no one can do that anymore because everyone's like too busy hating themselves for some stupid reason. Literally, like every millennial and Gen Z shitpost online is like, the punchline is that they're depressed and they can't do anything. For millennials, it was, man, adulting is so hard. And for Gen Z, it's like posting, cyberpunk, or sorry, Blade Runner, Ryan Gosling gifs where they're like, me when my, like, you'll have like 22-year-olds who have been away for like 3 semesters of college saying, you when you meet your old friend and it's like not a day has passed and it's like an AI generated photo of 2 wizards like standing alone in a dark forest or something. And it's like, do none of you people feel shame? Okay, maybe not that, but like, can you, because nobody has any like drive for the future, which isn't necessarily their fault because the future's super cooked. Bring back shit. Well, we need to, like, people need to be a little bit more secure in their identity, basically. How would you define loving yourself? Not asking pedantic questions of a live stream. I'm sorry, that was completely unwarranted. Listen, I can't help you with this because I have literally never had self-esteem issues. I am, in this respect, a different kind of guy. I don't know if it's a TISM thing or my folks or whatever. Literally from day one to now, look, I'm not saying I haven't had issues, okay? But for that shit, just not been an issue, okay? I've had other issues, not that one. Self-esteem, not been a problem. So I don't know. People are like, well, how do you do that? I don't know. It comes natural. Maybe compliment yourself more often? Why is everyone afraid to compliment themselves? What, like, when did that get taboo? People think you're full of yourself when you talk well of yourself. Literally, why? Are we like Japanese now, where everyone has to like performatively self-denigrate to their elders or something? Like, when did we, like, this is a hyper-individualistic culture. How did we regress so far? I'm not even in favor of hyper-individualism in the American sense. Bro, you sound so insecure right now. I'm sorry. That's because you're projecting. You can't imagine a person talking the way that I do without them trying to cover something up. I just like painting. You see me painting on a wall, and you're like, what blemishes must he be covering up on that wall? I just like painting. You're the one looking at a beautiful painted wall and thinking like, man, there must be some dark shit behind there. Maybe your wall looks like shit. I just like painting. Compliment yourself more often. I don't know. Maybe not the person who just said I sound insecure. You could stand for a bit of a buffer before the next self-compliment. But most of you, you could go for 1 or 2. I started jokingly hyping myself up because of you. Other people tell me they look up to me in turn because of it. I'm projecting confidence. People like that. It's good. Vosh is a rich, attractive white guy. He has 0 experience with this stuff. Demographic characteristics are the reason why I'm self-deprecating and miserable. I don't have to take this advice or learn anything. There's always an excuse. There's always a reason. Also, you're white too. I'm throwing that one out into the ether. I'm rolling the dice. I'm rolling the dice, but you do not have a high AC. I'll say that much. Okay? Oh, and ironically, watching you has taught me how funny and likable being performatively and absurdly self-confident makes you, and it helps me a lot, man. It's literally just like, you're just having a good time, I don't get it. People, they get so in their head about it. You make a positive comment about yourself, and people are like, in real life, no one gives a fuck. But online, people are like, okay, all right, that's cool, buddy. Typical wealthy white man. Like, it's a thing with you. I don't get it. It's not a thing with me. Gas yourself the fuck up. Yeah, fuck it, we ball. What if I compliment others as well? Yeah, sure. Hell yeah, do it. I compliment people all the time. Every time I interact with a service worker, like a cashier or whatever the fuck, anytime I'm out doing stuff, I'm always trying to be friendly to the people I talk to. Hey, I like your hair. Hey, I like the pin on your apron, whatever. Make people feel good, sure. Yeah, Poseidon, nice. People tend to look at self-confident people as self-centered. I'm not lighting you up. What I'm saying is like that is 100% a projection thing, because that mentality could only stem from a person who believes that any like self-applied compliments are covering up some kind of problem. Like the guy who can't paint. Wrong, depends how overconfident you are. Yeah, but like, we're not talking about people who are arrogant or whatever. We're just talking about people who have some pep in their step, Ain't that normal? I don't know how you people make it through the day feeling so negative about yourselves all the damn time. I think a lot of chat mistakes self-deprecation for humility when it's actually more self-centered than being confident. That's true. When I learned that shy people or insecure people are the most egotistical and self-centered of all, that was like the click. And after that, it all fell into place. Because the reason these people don't open up or communicate or whatever the is because they're over-fixated on their concern of how others will perceive how their interactions go. They just don't open up, right? the person who's in the classroom, they don't talk or raise their hand or whatever. It was back when I was a kid. Now I guess it'd be like they don't talk to strangers, or they engage at the grocery checkout line or something. And it's like, you're not worried about how they'll handle you talking to them. You're worried about how you'll be thought negatively of if you attempt to interact with them. And those are two very different things. Because the second one is self-centered. The second one, you're depriving the world of the light of human interaction because you're so concerned about it up for yourself, you know? I see you. That was me, but I'm working on it. Yeah. So that's all it is. Nobody's perfect. It's not like I'm perfect, you know? Maybe I seem pretty extroverted compared to the average person in chat, but that's kind of a low bar. Hello, Capella. Walking by. But yeah, it's just a process of self-improvement, you know. Had the gifted complex where I was an arrogant little shit, got humbled. Oh yeah, while we're on the topic of like blowing up chat, I will say, and I saw this on Twitter and it's so true, and I've said it before, so I'm not just cribbing it from Twitter, but I was a gifted child who then fell waylaid because of anxiety or whatever the fuck else, and that's why I can't do anything now, is literally the hipster version of I could have made pro if I hadn't blown out my knee in high school football. I could have gone like to state. It's literally the exact same thing. You're just the Harry Potter version of it. It's the person who thinks they would have been sorted into Ravenclaw version of it. And it's not cute. Very self-centered. You were gifted? Okay. How many of those, centennial math problems did you solve? You know, the ones they do those like math tournaments where you have like 3 hours. The millennial, there you go. 7, I think. You guys did not do 7 of them. Thank you. Narcissism isn't just about being egotistical, it's just self-obsession. Yeah. I was told I had no talent for art and was mentally slow. Now I overtry in everything. Maybe that's the way. You have to like Rock Lee all of your kids. You have to be like, your first child, no matter how mediocre, has to be the sacrificial lamb because you gas them the up, even though they like might not be good. And all the children after that, you're like, actually, Edward gets the first cut of steak after his delectable performance in water polo. The rest of you can wait. A+, no extra credit. And basically, the goal here is to dump on every other kid until they overperform just to win your approval. And the first kid's because as soon as they're out of high school, they are definitely going to jail for like peddling coke on a college campus. But the rest of your kids are going to be forever, they're going to be tryhards. The first child is the fuel for the rest of them, like a sacrificial, you know. I don't think this is a good idea. I can't think of any problems with it. I mean, it's realizing that your entire personality isn't your intelligence. Yeah, I had that issue when I was like 10. I grew out of it. I think it's like everybody who thinks they're smart, I think for some length of time in their life thinks that, but past the point, like if you're carrying that into adulthood, it's not hard to feel smart in the US though. Well, yeah, it's true. The average person here is like barely literate, but you know. Also, yeah, being smart doesn't mean anything. There are lots of people who are like out there and they're smart and they can't do shit. They're like totally worthless in terms of productivity. They can't actually accomplish anything. They're smart, their brain functions well, but they wake up at like 1 p.m. every day. And they're too, like, you know, mired in neuroses to actually accomplish anything. Meanwhile, they're getting lapped every day by a line cook with, like, 89 IQ, who's, like, a better person than them, too. Because the smart guy's like, oh, with my IQ, shouldn't I be ruling the world by now? Shouldn't I? Don't I deserve more than this? And the line cook's like, yeah, man, I eat every 4th taco I make. Hasn't made me fat yet, probably because I'm 22. Haha, want to go for your 8th smoke break this hour? It's like, damn, you've kind of got it figured out. You're the smarter one. Honestly, what the fuck is this segment? You're viewing me through a framework that is to the detriment of your ability to understand what I'm doing. I'm talking to chat is what's happening. It's not a segment. I mean, maybe they'll make it a segment. I do like to monetize my content. It doesn't even take anything from you. I just put it up on the channel and I get ad revenue. But like, I'm basically just talking about the stuff that's on my mind to chat. As a male line cook in my 20s, all of us think we're geniuses. Okay, but you're line cooks. You're literally like the foundation of society. Like you're literally like, you know, the art where it's like the soldiers dying at Iwo Jima and their bodies are like holding up the park that the civilians back home are walking on. Like that's line cooks. Literally though. What's the best advice you can give a 21-year-old? I don't think there's one piece of advice, but like if you think for a fleeting moment that you should do a thing, just do the thing. Hey, it just occurred to me that I don't really understand how my my different bank accounts are set up. Like, I don't really understand how they're ordered or like what the interest rate is on the saving account. Just look it up. You can just check it in like 10 minutes, you know? No, it just realized, like, I don't really know what the course requirements are for my major. Like, I'm pretty sure that I have it down, but like, I'm not entirely, just look it up. You can look it up in like 5 minutes, you know? Less than 5 minutes. Did we have class tomorrow? I don't know, but I can like, I'll check tomorrow. I'm pretty lazy, and let me just just send the email right now. Literally, just like if there's anything in your life that asks, like, just literally just do the thing. You're gonna have to do it eventually. You're gonna cause way more trouble for yourself down the line. Just do the thing, and just always do that. If you have the thought, just do the thing. You're gonna have so much free time when you realize this. People go through so much stress and crying nights just to avoid a 5-minute task, literally. And same to me, sometimes. I'm not perfect about this at all. At all. Just do the thing. Motivation is hard. Yeah, but like you have to do it. Motivation is a tricky subject, because at the end of the day, a lot of like people's innate willingness to do things kind of comes down to brain chemistry that may or may not be alterable. Like, it's alterable to an extent. Everyone kind of gets their starting deck, right? Maybe some people are more willing to just do stuff than others, but at the end of the day, like, there's no secret sauce. You just do the thing. It's like getting into exercise, right? Like, no one on earth can get into an exercise routine where they're like, I will simply do 30 minutes of exercise every day, and then they just do it. Everyone starts the same way. Oh, I can't believe I have to do this. Oh, I'm so sore. Oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, this is annoying. Oh, this takes a lot of time. Oh, I want to do anything else. And then you get it done for 2 weeks in a row and you're fine. Because at that point, it's routine, and you have it. You have it like that. So much of the difficulty is just like convincing your mind. You just have to do the thing to do the thing. And then once you've done the thing, it's easier. And then in the future, when you do the thing, that's easier too. Thing is scary. No, thing isn't scary. Your thoughts about the thing are scary. I don't know what thing you're talking about, but I bet you I'm right, though. It's not the thing that's scary. It's all the implications and expectations associated with them. But as soon as you do the thing, you don't really have to think about the thing anymore. Or you can think about the next stage of the thing, which you would have to do at some point anyway. I jogged regularly every other day for 2 months and hated every second of it. Maybe it's not your thing. That's fine. I'm not saying that all habits are equally easy to form, I'm just saying, like, you take your shot at it. But I'm not talking about like forming good life habits necessarily. I'm talking about like the stuff you need to do. If you have like a list of things that your house needs that you have not obtained, like house stuff or whatever, like a new broom or those like duster mop things or whatever, just write it down, put it on your like phone list or whatever, or just get off Amazon right now. Like right now, get it, just literally like at this moment. You could do it. You can open up another tab. There's something you need for your house. You're not going to get a better deal on it later. Everything is already really cheap because Amazon like extracts the blood of 9-year-old sweatshop workers and uses it to fuel the great engines that drop ship everything you get from the site. You're not, just get the thing. I've been putting off cleaning and reorganizing my room. I'm going to turn off stream and go do it now. First of all, you can leave stream on while you're doing that. And second of all, you should donate first. I'm just kidding. You can go do that. Go. Also, anyone with ADHD who claims they can't do things, unironic skill issue. This is what I mean about the medicalization of neuroatypicality. It's not that ADHD doesn't work. It's that ADHD describes a set of traits that everyone has to some extent. Everyone has executive dysfunction to some extent, by the way. You know that, right? Like, it's not like ADHD people have a switch turned on where they have trouble with executive dysfunction and then like non-ADHD people don't. That's not how it works. Everyone does. Some people do more. We kind of generally describe that as one of the characteristics for ADHD, And the problem, it's learned helplessness. Sometimes people who are given that diagnosis, they use it as an excuse. Now they're like, oh, that's why I can't do shit, ADHD. And then they just don't do shit. And whenever they're called out in it, or they like try to make themselves do something, they're like, well, I have ADHD, so I can't. If you didn't think you had ADHD, would you still be talking like that? Like, what if the doctor just said, yeah, it seems like you have issues with executive dysfunction. That's unfortunate, but there are ways to work through it. And then you went back home and you tried to work through it. Would you do better? I'm not saying you shouldn't get prescribed Adderall. I'm just saying, like, is the label hurting you? Is the label giving you an excuse to not try your hardest? Have you ever seen people I see it on Twitter, probably it's on Tumblr all over the place, TikTok, whatever, where people are like, oh, so you're telling me my whole life, it's not normal to have trouble doing tasks even though you have the task in mind for all day? That this is ADHD? Neurotypical people don't have trouble getting started on something that's only going to take 5 minutes? And they're like building up this big wall between themselves and the normies. And it's like, dog, everyone gets these feelings. Why are you making like an identity out of it? You can't make an identity out of failure. You know what that begets, right? Failure. You're going to fail more if you make your identity the person who can't do stuff. Maybe you have trouble doing stuff, but that shouldn't be your damn identity. That should just be like, you know, like a component of a tapestry of complex, you know, facets of your being. And what do? You do the thing. Hey, well done. Holy shit, you look fantastic. I been working out for 8 years, competed in my first competition 6 months ago. I don't normally show selfies from chat, but I'll make an exception here. Is there any way you think I could get this body in like 2 months? Just curious. Been a while since I've hit the weights. Good Lord. God damn. I'd say I haven't taken my shirt off, so I'd say I probably look about like that. Steroids? Congratulations. You've opened yourself up. First of all, even if somebody's roiding, takes a ton of work. Second of all, you have absolutely no reason to be making that accusation at a chatter, at a brother, another member of VGG. You would just do that off of nothing? You would denigrate them with no evidence? That body's achievable, Natty. I'll admit, it takes a lot of work, but people do put a lot of work in. Have you, Yakubian ape? In the timeout chamber. How dare you? I think they might have meant that's how you can do it in 2 months. Oh! Yakubian ape, and don't do it again. Or something. You unbanned, but he was muted? Yeah, that's what I was saying, yes. Well, of course you'd say that, Yakubian ape. Yeah, basically what I'm saying is try harder, you lazy pieces of shit. No, I believe you, Yakubian ape. Good luck. Good luck, Smilany. I have ADHD and I hate bringing it up because it feels like such cope. Like, why do other people need to know that about me? They don't. I agree. I think there was a period of time on lefty social media where it became very fashionable to like immediately and performatively disclose every possible thing that could be neuroatypical about you. Oh, I have trauma, PTSD, complex PTSD, etc. And it's like, why? Literally, why? Make people work for that information. Make them guess a little bit, you know? It's not a damn personality. Yeah, it's still pretty prominent, but not saying there's anything wrong with any of those things, you know? I don't think it's bad if you bleach your asshole. Do whatever makes you happy. But if everyone was out there like, you know, hey, shake hand, my name is X, my asshole is bleached, I feel like that you should make people work a little bit for some information. This convo is very frustrating to somebody who knows actual medical studies about this stuff. Yeah, it must be frustrating to see all of your academic knowledge on the subject get trounced by a guy with a bachelor's in sociology and, the gift of gab. Miller 6, we've literally done this before. You're just misunderstanding the argument. I'm not arguing that there's no difference in brain chemistry between people who have ADHD or don't have ADHD. It's just not the argument that I'm making. But I'm not relitigating all of this. I'm not saying it's a skill issue. What you do is a skill issue. Doesn't mean it's fair, though. Sociology isn't a real degree anyway. That's true.